see. Let's see if the audio is working. All right, we got audio. Happy Monday, everybody. We are going to be analyzing a deal like we've been doing every single day. I just got sent this deal in Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina, 27870. So let's go through the deal details really quick today. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go through one, getting the fair market rents, FMR, the market rents on affordablehousing.com. We're going to do a site street view walkthrough. We're going to check the crime index score. And just for those that are just joining, what's up, Brandon? How you doing, man? For those of you that I've gotten a lot of questions about starting a nonprofit. So I just had a podcast interview with Sherri, and she has over 30 years of experience in nonprofits and affordable housing. So this is going to be a great podcast for you guys to look at on how to start a nonprofit and get your grants for affordable housing. She just got like a $2.4 million grant for about, I think it was like 12 or 13 single family homes. So she's going to rent out to low income folks. And in 20 years from now, she's going to own that free and clear. So do we still have excuses about not having enough money to get started? All right. Make sure you guys watch the podcast with Sherri on how to start a nonprofit. So let's go back to the details. So purchase price for this property is $95,000. For those of you that want to watch the full screen version, make sure you guys go to youtube.com/@Kent_HE. The purchase price for this property is $95,000. Mortgage balance is $41,280. Seller finance portion, which means that one, because you're taking over the loan subject to the existing finance, there's an equity portion of this property, which means that your equity portion is going to be $41,480 subtracted by 95. So 95 minus 41,820. That's your remaining equity amount less whatever you're paying to the seller. And then you have a remaining balance that is the seller's equity that they're going to finance for you on here. So they're saying the PITI, the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, is going to be $529 a month, and that includes both the mortgage and the seller finance portion. Interesting. Okay. So I can always back into that later because they're not giving me the full details. They think the long-term rental is $1,050, so that has some room. Square feet, 1,400 square feet. All right, 3-bed, 1 bath. Let's look at this property, 918. So this property, let's see if there's any photos. This looks like there's a trampoline. I want to get rid of that. Where are we? People just park right on the, I don't love it when people just park right on their front lawn. Doesn't really make any sense. Any boarded up homes. I can't tell if it's Halloween just decoration or it's like a boarded up thing. All right, let's keep walking down the street, huh? Let's see what's going on here. They're very small homes. I don't know. I don't really love this neighborhood. You see how messed up that front porch is? Again, more people parking right in the front lawn. I don't know why you do that. I mean, you could just park right there in the driveway. So I'm not loving the neighborhood. There's some things that don't really make sense. I don't really love this neighborhood. All right, well, let's keep going. So let's see if I can find, what county is this in? Halifax County. And let's see if I can find more photos of this really quick. So let me go to realtor.com. Sometimes you see other details on other websites. So this probably looks like it needs paint. I'm assuming it needs paint and flooring on this property. Okay, so usually you can find photos of these properties elsewhere. You don't see it on one property. Sometimes I see it on realtor.com or Zillow. So it's kind of nice that I did a quick check and got all the other numbers. All right, next thing we want to do is check the crime index score. So I go to tophap.com, tophap.com. On that website, I want to plug in the address. Whoops. 918 Franklin Street. I'm going to click on the neighborhood section as once you load the address. And the crime score is 103. So it's not like it's terrible crime. Maybe it's just in the middle of nowhere. I live in an area where the crime score is about 88, 90. So this is 103. So it's not that much high. It's right there with the national average. This just seems like a place where it's in the middle of nowhere. Let me go to the street. Let me go to Google Maps. Where are we? Where is Roanoke Heights? This is in Gaston. So right on the North Carolina and Virginia line. Okay, this is pretty far north. It's not really near major metropolitan area. So I'll probably get a population growth if I was really interested in this area. Usually I don't really go for areas where there isn't any positive population growth, excuse me. So let's go to the HUD FMR. So if you Google HUD FMR, HUD space FMR, you will be able to find what the fair market rents are. Now you click on this website and it's going to bring you to this area. You click through a few screens and I'm going to show you this. Go to the small area FMRs, click on FY 2024 FMRs, and then now you're able to pick the state, which is North Carolina, and the county, which we saw was Halifax from our search. Oh, check this out. They're not even here. Interesting. I've never seen this before. Maybe it's so rural that they're not even listed here. Let me look at this. Halifax County. Let's see if we can find a county. Let me just double check this right county. Yeah, it's right in Halifax County, Roanoke Rapids. So I don't have the FMR. So if this turns out to be a area that I care about, I'm going to have to figure out where to find the FMR. So I'm just going to grab the market rents for now and see whether that's going to be a deal. So usually you would be able to get the fair market rent by bedroom count and by zip code. Let me see if I can find it. Halifax County Housing Authority. Let me see if I can find this. Roanoke, Chowan, Gaston Regional Housing Authority. Boom. Let's see if there's any payment standards. Landlords. I'm just Googling this. Housing quality standards. That's going to be your checklist for the inspection. Resources. I'm going on a little goose hunt. As you can tell, I don't prep for these. So I'm just doing the work every single day with all of you to see where now we can find some rents. If not, it's okay. We're just going to use the market rents to do it anyways. Because guess what? While this is loading, and I'm assuming this is just one of those understaffed areas. Roanoke Chowan. Roanoke Chowan. Yeah, I guess they don't have it. So I'm just going to look at the market rent. So I'm going to go to owner section, affordablehousing.com, and I'm going to plug in the address for 3 bedrooms. I can see that the market rent for 14 units within a 26.42 mile radius is $993. So I'm going to assume that is how much I will be able to get for a 3-bedroom property on this one. So I'm going to write that down right now, and I'm going to put this into my calculator. Now, the reason I'm using 993, unless otherwise I know that the FMR is higher or lower, is typically there is a test. It's called the rent reasonableness test. The rent reasonableness test simply says that, hey, even if the FMR is higher than this 993 number, it does not mean I get to charge a higher rent simply because that person is a voucher holder for the obvious reasons. So I'm going to use 993 as my number, and I do not have an FMR today, so I'm going to leave that blank on my spreadsheet, and I'll share my spreadsheet here shortly. But this is my kind of quick go, 993. All right. So once we go in here, let's see if anything loaded. Housing choice voucher. Oh, they just brought me to the HUD website. That's not helpful. They don't have anything here that talks about how much I can get paid for this. So, all right, we're just going to keep on going. And if this turns out to be someone close to a deal, maybe I'll give them a call afterwards. So as we go through all these numbers, we now have the crime index score. We have the market rent. We have the street view. And now we're going to go ahead and plug in the calculator. Let me kind of go on here and share the calculator. I'm going to stop sharing the screen and then share just the Excel. For those of you that are watching on Instagram, you always go to youtube.com/@Kent_HG, and you will be able to find the deal calculator. So for those of you that typically want a copy of the calculator, I've been very fortunate. I've been given this calculator by other folks. I've been able to modify it based off what I need, and I've been able to adjust it accordingly. So seller finance is 32,820. So he wants to do equals 41,820. He did not give me the interest rate for the seller finance portion. let's see, 74 grand. So what's left? It's going to be 95 minus 74. So I'm assuming it's $21,000, including assignment and cash to seller. So I'm just going to leave that there for now. PITI is 529. So I'm going to make property tax equals 529 minus the subto principal minus the interest. This was a 4.8%. So I'm still getting my PITI to be what they tell me, which is going to be, which is 529. But I'm going to add another $30 for insurance because usually it's a little bit more expensive for a insurance policy for a investment property. I'm setting aside $10, and then my rent right now is going to be $993, if you guys remember correctly from what I got. $993. For me, I have to put in some renovations at 1,400 square feet. I'm going to assume this place needs to paint and new flooring. So 1,400 times 3, and then 1,400 times flooring. So that equals to a $18,000 rehab. That seems a little high. What else do I have in here that I left in from my prior rehabs? 15.4. Yeah, that's right, actually, because it's just paint and carpet. I'm not even assuming there's any issues wrong with the roof right now. So let's kind of keep going. At 18 grand, 90 buying this property for 95. This is probably not a deal at 6.85% for me, but it's at least positive. So for me, this isn't close enough to be a deal for me to pursue it further. But for folks that might be okay with a 7% return, and again, right, I'm setting aside 10% of my rent every single month for maintenance. I still have 8% for property management and 3% for vacancy. So this rehab, 18,480, even if you divided that rehab by half, and let's say like I overestimated it, what would that make it? What would that make that deal? So that would make it a 9% cash on cash rent. Still not a deal for me, but for some folks, it might be a deal. So I'm just going to write down the scenario here for me. Still at $95,000. And the whole point of this is, right, for me to figure out whether or not this is worth my time to dig in a little bit further to see whether or not it's worth my time to send a contractor out there. Because right now, in Roanoke Rapids, I do not have anybody out there. And this is one of the reasons why people hesitate to invest, right? If you don't have a team that you can trust to execute on your vision and on your standards that you set for your own properties, then it might put you into trouble. So I'm not going to do that. This just isn't strong enough for me to have a one random property out there. But this is part of the work, guys. All we're doing here every single day is we are analyzing deals together. We are looking at all these deals every single day to see whether or not they're worth our time, and especially if we need to engage a contractor, whether or not we need to send somebody out there to take a look and get us a better bid. I don't think this deal is good enough, in my opinion, for me to waste any more time. And sometimes that's really one of the biggest things that we all have to kind of figure out is how do we avoid burnout? And I avoid burnout by quickly realizing what is worth my time and what isn't worth my time. In this scenario, this is definitely not worth my time because at 6 or 9%, that's just not high enough for me to spend 30 grand on this property, even though I'm having my renovations right now. So if this rent was a lot higher, yeah, maybe. But for now, this is just not worth it unless for some reason we can lower the numbers even more. So, well, what if we sold this property for? What if we had less money? I'm assuming this is selling at $95,000, even the Zillow estimate was like 65 grand, if I remember correctly. Let me see if I can find this rent estimate. See what was on Redfin. Redfin estimates is 70 grand. So no wonder this person is willing to sell for 95 because we're giving them the number that they want. They think it's worth 95. Redfin might think it's 70 grand. So theoretically, you might say, hey, I'm paying $20,000 over. Well, what if I turn this into 12,180? And now this is going to go down to 75 grand, right? Because I lowered it by 75 grand. This is now a deal. No, still. Well, I gotta reduce this number. So I don't know what to reduce this number by, but what if I reduce this by another $100 a month? 12. Okay. If I can reduce my payment by another $50, $379. Yeah, I will have to reduce my payment, my monthly payment by at least $150 every single month for me to make this a deal. So what's kind of good is just kind of run through the numbers and see what I can do. If this deal still doesn't get sold after a while, I might say, hey, can we renegotiate with the seller? And maybe this could be the deal. If I can reduce the payment by another 150, then I'd be willing to take a flyer on this deal to make it at least make it worth the squeeze. So a 15% cash on cash return, that's probably my minimum there to make it worth my time. And this is this is pretty aggressive, right? Because I also have my rehab on this property from my estimates on painting and flooring. So just something for us all to pay attention to. Again, I'm nothing to sell you. This is not investment advice. I'm not soliciting any investments. This is all for information and entertainment purposes only. I'm simply doing the work that is not talked about every single day, but I go live every single day for our community in affordable housing and real estate investing. And I do it because this way we can all just get better at underwriting properties together. I do not claim to be an expert at affordable housing. I simply love it. I'm so passionate about it. And I've been on a thirsty journey to acquire as much knowledge as possible how people have essentially been successful at affordable housing. So if all of you want to follow along the journey live, please make sure you guys subscribe to our podcast. You can find it on youtube.com/@Kent_HE, or you can also find us on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. And I would really appreciate it. You guys can leave a 5-star review. Again, if any of you guys want a copy of the calculator, just DM me your email that you sign up on Facebook or Instagram with, and I'll have my assistant send it right over to you. Thank you so much, everybody. Have an amazing Monday. We're going to be back here again doing it tomorrow. And please give me some feedback. Let me know what else you guys need help with, and we can do it together or try to find out the answers together. Have an amazing day.